Right, we'll give it some time before we start. I mean, not really much happening at the moment. I did make a little video in my channel in regards to some local areas I'm looking at, but um, at the moment, not really doing anything crazy. I mean, we're just in same range near enough. Just do I have something drawn on here? Yeah, I do. All right. I mean, yeah, this is just the analysis from my video in my channel, but give me a sec. I need to fucking get rid of that for now. But yeah, like I was saying, in the video, I just pretty much gave a couple of scenarios which I'm covering, and we obviously have a few. We have obviously this initial push downwards. We know that typically Monday and Wednesday are the best performing days of the week. So let's say theoretically we form some sort of higher low around this price region, then we could have this like extensive um like move upwards, if that makes sense, where we break slightly above, have a SFP, and then push right back down during Thursday. It really depends. We also might just I don't know, the structure at the moment on the lower time frame is like all over the place. Um, if we start looking, I mean, we have like a very messy trend line here. Well, not really that messy, but um, if we look on the lower time frame, I guess we have some messy PA. I mean, we had one, two, three, 4 points of contact around this trend line. Had a sweep above. Well, nice wick to this previous high here. Slow bleeding all the way back down. Matter of fact, let's get some sessions up so we can have a look. Um, at exactly the entire picture here. We'll start looking at some key areas. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we had NY. This was our Monday high. Rejection, 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 high low. Finally pushed through that Monday high, which is here. So that is our Monday high. Well, previous Monday high. Um, pushed through. At the moment, we are, well, you can see, pretty much respecting exactly the Monday high, whilst breaking structure from this internal range trend line, right? So, I mean, at the moment, I guess we could go through it for like a trend line retest and then push down. I mean, like on the lower time frame locally, um, we can look around here for a potential retest, which do something like this and then push back down. But that wouldn't align with the fact that usually Wednesday's bullish, right? So I mean, let's get the daily up and look at where the daily open is, for instance. Yeah, I mean, it's around, yeah, monthly open. So you can see here at the moment we had the wick to Monday high, slight deviation below monthly open, and pretty much it's quite simple. If we reject here or around these highs around here, it's quite messy, right? We might have some slight deviation above if we are going to do something like that with NY open, but we have to see how the price reacts around here. Because if it rejects, starts losing the monthly open, and my God, give me a second, guys. I need to mute my pings in Telegram. 1 minute. All right, hopefully that's gonna do it. But anyways, like I was saying, We have to see the reaction around here. If we compromise this low, monthly open, daily open, compromise this as well, then that will reinforce the possibility of obviously pushing down to, let's say, Asia low, which is around 67.5. On the other hand, let's say we do not compromise this low here and we maintain above this area. Now we could see something like this where we have a sweep below, hold and respect after the sweep again of London low. So another sweep of this London low, reclaim. If we reclaim this and start doing something like this, let's say we come back down and have a retest on the lower time frame, right, and we respect that area, then we can push up all the way up to sweep Asia and London highs. Now, this is if we are going to dump at the start of NY Open and have the sweep below, right, and respect this lower time frame area. On the other hand, if we do not respect this area, and like I said, hold somewhere like these areas here, for instance, and we start pushing through, then there's also a possibility we have a sweep of these highs through the session. Same shit, different day. Similar to what we saw last time on Monday, where I was covering how we had the sweep above and then the push down, pretty textbook. So, for instance, if we flip this area, hold a retest, sweep the highs again, you'll be looking for something similar like this, where we have the break, bearish retest, the range, so like this, and then push back down, which is going to be there. So in terms of lower time frame, we have two plausible scenarios, which are quite likely, given that we are still in a range. The only, I guess, let's say we fail to hold the daily open and the monthly open, then like I said, we sweep this area here, probably range until Thursday, and Thursday is, well, based off just 1 year of stats. It's not really based off a significant amount of stats. 1 year is not that much. I mean, um, if we lose that, then Thursday for the past year has been performing the worst day. So we could see two things. We could see a push upwards extension, sweeping the highs again, which would align with obviously a Thursday retracement. If we don't see that and we start showing a bearish narrative on Wednesday, then it doesn't basically mean that Thursday is going to be bullish, right? Just because Wednesday is bearish, it means we could still see some weakness. It just means there's a different, I guess, algo playing out this Wednesday where we instead push down instead of push up. So in terms of local movements, not really seeing much at the moment apart from this small area here. And there's no guarantee that we hold below this because this is internal range. At the moment, we have our London high, London low. This is our internal range where the liquidity isn't that strong. The liquidity is going to be strong above and below the highs. And if we cannot um, reject here, then we push through, same thing, push down. So I guess the area where I look to take the best scalps are usually around the kill zones when there is a nice sweep. For instance, here we had a nice sweep of Asia, had a push straight back down. Um, you just have to observe for these reactions of the sweeps of the sessions, but you also need to make sure that you wait for the acceptance into the range as well. And I mean, right now, all we are seeing is this very hunty PA, like we see push down, push up, full reversal, push up, and we're just pretty much like doing something just like this. We just done that. Now we're just like doing this in terms of price action. So the lower time frame is quite messy, but aligning with my broader thesis on the higher time frame, right? Let's say we break down what I just said on the lower time frame to this time frame now. Let's say we lose this monthly and daily open, and obviously we're going to push back down to here, right? Previous monthly open, previous SR, hold that, we end up with this scenario. So everything fits together like a puzzle piece, I guess. If you want to significantly improve, I would say that start mapping out scenarios like this on your chart, and you'll start to have like plans in place, preparations, if that makes sense. rather than trying to gamble in the middle of the range, mark out scenarios which you could see developing. And then once one looks like it's developing, for instance, let's say we start pushing down to here and we are following through with this scenario, then I'll observe here if we start seeing a good reaction, start seeing some bullish absorption around these lows, then I'd look for this movement upwards, right? If we start breaking through and pushing all the way to these highs, then I start looking at some previous areas here where we've had some strong highs or just a key area, for instance. I believe on the daily here we actually have an imbalance as well. So yeah, I mean, like using the daily as a reference here, we have this imbalance FVG as well. So I mean, we could do something like this as well. And I have no clue why Streamlabs keeps giving me these notifications because I'm not streaming. Um, I'm just recording this stream, so I don't know what the fuck that's about, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I would recommend marking out the scenarios um, on your charts, and then once they, like I said, once you see the price action unfold and slowly develop, then you have like something in place, and nothing is unexpected in a way. For me, for instance, I don't really need to do this anymore because it's just hardwired in my head, if that makes sense. Been looking at charts for so long. I pretty much have all of these different things running through my mind whilst I'm observing the charts. So these are like things which I don't really need to mark. But if you haven't been trading for as long as me, then I would recommend doing something like this just to have some sort of structure in place rather than gambling in the middle of the range. You observe for your scenarios, and then once one of them develops, then you start positioning for your outcome based off of the structure in your scenario. But don't aim for like ridiculous scenarios, like in terms of drawings, like where we just have, for instance, if you're going to draw a scenario, not going to draw something like this where we just go straight down like this. For instance, structures usually like very choppy in these ranges, so we can see sweeps, chops, sweeps, chops. So that's what I would say you should do if you want to improve when it comes to reading the structure. Have it like mapped out like this. Right, can hear only music. Yeah, I don't know. My microphone, I looked on my settings and it was in fact lower um the last few streams, but I've turned it all the way to the max now, so my microphone should be fully working properly and a lot louder than before, even in my videos. So you just explaining, or you're doing scalp at kill zones too? Um, in the future, I'm looking into maybe doing some scalps here and there as well. For now, I'm just covering the analysis of obviously what I expect to happen through these sessions, and then people can make their own decisions based off what I'm saying. So it's like I'm covering the structure, the scenarios, the analysis, and then um, you can use this as, I guess, a proof concept. I don't know how to explain it, but basically what you take from here is like what I'm explaining, and then obviously if you see something what I'm explaining on the chart in the next couple of hours, for instance, you can take a trade personally yourself rather than me basically taking a trade live and then everyone just apening just because I'm apening, if that makes sense. So I will be doing it though. I will be doing it at some point, but I don't want to like I don't want to, I guess, have people just specifically reliant on what I'm doing, because this is not going to help you long term if you're just relying on what I'm doing all the time. Because realistically speaking, let's say 5, 6, 7 years, I decide, okay, I'm done. I've made enough from all of this, and I just venture onto something different. Um, let's say that's a very realistic scenario. I'm not going to be sat here posting my thoughts about the market for the next like 3, 4 decades, am I? So yeah, I think like me going over my thought process and teaching the educational way of viewing the charts is going to be far more beneficial than me just simply um, entering a trade and then everybody just following me. So it's like at some point I will do the scalps live, but I also want to do these little streams where I cover the scenarios. You can make your own plans out of it, preparations, expectations, and do what you want to do based off that. But if you want to be profitable long term, you have to develop your own system. It could be similar to mine. It could be your own unique style. But um, yeah, Asia high swept testing monthly open. What do you think? I mean, we haven't swept Asia high at the moment. We just had Asia high form here at 69.2, and you can see we've just been bleeding right back down since. So we haven't really swept it yet. So like I said, this is where you start mapping out them scenarios. Believe me, this is very good practice. Like if you are truly taking trading seriously and you're not gambling away and you are truly trying to make money in one of the most competitive industries on the planet, then you have to do things properly. And believe me, um, if you are marking scenarios down and observing the structure of this type of way of scalping trading, things are going to be get like over time they're going to be um, more natural to you. For instance, like I said, um, all of these scenarios which you see me drawing, these are all in my head. I don't need to draw them, if that makes sense. So you can see here, we've got one scenario, NY open tested the previous internal range. Now we're back down to here. So what are we doing? We're sweeping London low. So we're going through with this scenario. Could you have took a trade based off this? Yes, because we were testing this SR during the middle of the range. Where were we closer to? Closer to the range high or closer to the range low? Closer to the range low. So now we're sweeping London low. So yeah. But this is obviously one way I observe charts, right? Within Killer Labs, there's a lot more different concepts which are similar to this. Um, but yeah, this is like a very very effective way of doing little scalps. For instance, okay, so we're breaking through. Are we seeing any respection of range? No, we are not at the moment. We're just testing small low here on the lower time frame. Now we just have to wait for respection of the range. If we don't see that, then this is a low which is compromised. If the low is compromised, no acceptance means it could literally go down to this wick here. And then we go over to the higher time frame scenarios where we could see, okay, so if we start sweeping this low here, we look for a higher low there. So I mean, um, PA is a lot more clean if you mark out things like this. So how likely will this guy be gay? So what's that? I mean, like it's not an unrealistic target, but you've probably seen me. I've said, well, I made a post about where I expect us to potentially form a bottom around. I made a post about that. I expect us to. Well, I made a post about 6 months or a year ago, basically saying where I expect us to bottom, and it's between 45 and 55. And that is like my bottom in scenario. Like, let's say we go significantly lower, then obviously great, I'll just buy some more. But I don't like to look. Let's just go through a little story. So back when we were around this price region here, well, this is actually ages ago. Now, yeah, this is about fucking hell, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, when we were around this price region, I was too fixated on one particular price and it was here, just like the rest of many people, right? Just like the rest of many people, I was fixated on this particular price. Why? Because believe me, when we were here, there was the biggest liquidation box you could possibly see, the biggest I've ever seen, ever, ever. And I was so fixated on just this one particular outcome that I missed the good part of this entire recovery all the way up to here. And I literally only bought back when we were like here, here, and here. And in the process of doing that, bear in mind, around this area, I did buy, but I sold for a small scalp, right? And I missed out on 88% push upwards, right? All because I was focused on just one particular outcome. Whereas if I was just paying attention towards the time-based analysis, for instance, looking at how long typical bear markets are, for instance, if we look here, so 360 days. So if I just done the exact same thing, I knew that, okay, well, we were already in a bottoming zone. I should have just held, right? So when it comes to analyzing the price and looking for bottom targets and calling for like a specific number, right? There's always a possibility of being front run. And believe me, you don't want to be front run just by a couple of 10% difference in price. You really do not want to be front run, right? So with this area, I did make a prediction 45 to 55K. However, I'm going to be buying in this range, right? I'm going to be buying in this range. And am I okay with seeing 20, 25%? Yes. Like, I've held altcoins to fucking minus 50%. 25%'s nothing, right? So my point is, yes, I hope we manage to get a sweep to here, but let's say we go do this, right? This is a very fucking realistic scenario. We have some other little range similar to before, and then we just do this. Like, this is like very plausible, right? We could do this, and that means I'm waiting for all these lower targets, and I'm not going to get filled again. Similar to obviously what happened here. So my advice is when it comes to like investing long term is that we're minus 53%. If you're going to invest gradually, DCA gradually, and that's it. Like if you're buying at 50% drop, believe me, we have maybe another 20% left, and that's it. This is given we obviously follow every other cycle, right? And I base my analysis based off what I can see historically. I don't base my analysis off something which is unpredictable. I base my analysis of something which I can see happening. And at the moment, I can see we are following through with a decade-long pattern, longer than a decade and a half long pattern near enough. So I'm going to be using that for the time being until obviously if something unexpected happens, I can't predict the future, can I? All I can do is predict. Well, you can predict the future based off historical performance. You can't predict the future based off of something which, let's say, Satoshi's wallet gets hacked. I can't predict that, can I? So I can only predict what I can see from what's happened in the past, if that makes sense. So, yeah, my advice, don't be too fixated on a particular price if you're buying. Believe me, learn from somebody who's made every mistake in the book. I've done this a while, so but yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding anything trading related, anything related, just let me know. Got 60 people so far. This is quite good for Apex. Blasto long field. I don't know. I haven't been looking at what Blasto's doing at the moment, but we swept the London lows. So I mean, if we hold the low, then we can push upwards. Um, Quant computers can hack BTC chain, they said. Yeah, I mean, like this is like the main narrative which everybody's talking about at the moment, and I just find it um convenient. Obviously, I done a post on my X as well. I find it very convenient that this is happening when Bitcoin is, well, minus 53%, right? Well, it's not minus 53% if we're looking at exactly where we are, but from this wick here, 53%. Start looking for, let's say, where we are now, 45%. So it's very convenient that they bring out all of this stuff when the price is very low, right? But realistically speaking, we already had lots of talks about quantum computing when we were around here, but it's only getting a lot of traction here, right? After the price has retraced the way it has. And there's always an excuse every cycle for somebody not to buy. Remember, there's always some sort of excuse every cycle to stop people from buying, right? Let me try I'm gonna try get out a chart which I created actually a year ago, which covered news. Just looking for it on my other screen. Okay, there, I found it. So I made this a while ago, so I don't know if many people have seen it, but pretty much during a bear market, we obviously have some sort of news which pushes the price downwards. Bitstamp have uh, Bitstamp hack, F launch, bullish news, and so forth. Then we have the halving, and then through the halving we have this mania cycle, right? Close of local exchanges, China ban, FUD. But you can see this is all FUD through the bull cycle. So after the halving, right? After the halving. So when we have after the halving, there's going to be FUD, but the price still pushes upwards, right? We can see China bans, people selling, authority shut off, and this actually took me a while to document where all of these things occurred, right? That's why I'm not going to do one again because fuck that. But we can see through the bear cycles, there's always something elevating the price to move lower. So world transfers 21.5k BTC, biggest drop in months, 80%. Warning to the miners around here. And then obviously once we have the halving, we have FUD through the halving, but we continue to push through. And obviously had the 2021, 2022 era, where we obviously had um, Luna, Celsius, the Ukraine war, and so forth. Then you had the FTX collapse all around the bottom. Genesis outstanding loans, insolvency. I remember a lot of people were very, very fearful of this particular thing because they were expecting Genesis to sell a lot of assets relatively quickly, and they didn't end up doing that. And then we saw gradual incline. We had the ETFs, ETF pushed through, and then we had the halving. And again, tariff speculation, tariff trade war, stock market, minus 5% one day. And well, you can see where I marked this. This was again when Bitcoin was near a local bottom before obviously pushing to an all-time high. Why? Because we were through the bull cycle having FUD. Obviously, we call it FUD. It was genuine news, but FUD through the bull cycle in this sense, right? FUD through the bull cycle. So now that we're in a bear cycle, there is some sort of news like this. We obviously have Iran, Israel, and the US, right? We have all of these escalations, and now we have the quantum computing um, fears as well. So it's just natural you see all these different things appearing at certain periods. So that's why I say news is priced in, and that's why I always say that I usually ignore everything and I trade just specifically based off the structure because news is used to manipulate the masses into expecting the worst case outcomes. And because of that, a lot of people end up capitulating at certain price regions just specifically because of a headline, right? if you were just looking here, ignoring all of this, all of this bad news, we were testing a previous all-time high, perfect retest. It was the bottom, right? So I wouldn't get influenced by all of these different things. At least that's what I don't allow myself to be influenced by. This is the way I think. So I mean, you can still pay attention to news if that's what you want to do. But me personally, I observe things objectively, and I do not allow myself to be influenced by all of these different things, which they pop out every fucking year to just control the herd. Um, if we go to 63s first, you really think we rally back to 70Ks, even in this bearish structure? Yes, because we are still in the range, and if we did do something like that, we would front run the previous wick low. So for instance, here you have these lows here. If we manage to sweep down to here, this would trap a lot of people, front run the wick low, run up to the highs, and then have this gradual slow bleed. I actually posted another scenario on my X regarding that, which is very similar to this range here. We don't have to inherit the same characteristics, but I mean, for here, for instance, what did we see? We saw so many front runs, and then we had exit pumps before, obviously, the capitulation wick. So um, look how many times it front run the wick low. And we could easily do something very similar to what we are seeing now, for instance. Matter of fact, let's get the snipping tool and I'll show you. So this is very similar range to what we are seeing now. So let's just compare this and this, right? So at the moment, we had this rejection all the way back down, squeeze, hold, 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 and that's like equivalent to obviously this wick low here. This is over 4 months, and obviously this is only over 54 days. So given that, we could do this. We are like, in terms of length of the range, we are like dead on in the middle compared to the previous one. So we could do this over the next 2 months, right? Where we keep front running the low, building liquidity, and then we'll have something being released, maybe some sort of capitulation wick before that push downwards. So I think that front running these significant swing lows is quite good because it traps a lot of participants. And this is, I mean, believe me, this is gonna fuck up a lot of people if we ended up doing that. Um, Satoshi monthly open flipped. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Satoshi's wallet will get hacked when there's enough capital in BTC to yeah, I mean, like, I mean, it depends who owns the wallet, right? You never know. Satoshi might be the CIA. It might be an entity. It might not be one person. It might be some sort of massive corrupted fucking group who rules the world, right? You don't know who the fuck owns the wallet. It might not be one individual. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense for that to happen when, I mean, let's say Bitcoin. No, but you see, that's the thing. Even if the wallet is hacked, right? Bitcoin is propped up by a lot of futures, right? Like the price action itself is very artificial, very artificial. So I don't even if Bitcoin goes significantly high and the wallet's hacked, basically the futures order book would just puke and everything would just be removed. There wouldn't be enough liquidity. There'd be ADL happening everywhere, and it would just collapse the entire market, regardless of where the price is. So, um, in terms of if it was released like when we are like at, let's say, 500K, I don't think it really matters because, like I said, we have so much leverage in the market now. You already saw when we were all the way up here. This was the biggest liquidation event. This liquidated literally 20 billion, and this was nothing, right? This was nothing. So we'll see what levels will you observe to add to your short. If we're looking at swing short, then if we manage to get back to 71s, then I would look for a potential add. Until then, not really, because we're still in this little range. Ideally, I'm hoping that we get a sweep to here, because if we do, then I'll hedge the short again, back down, take a long, and then look for this scenario back up, meaning I would protect obviously the hedge all the way up to here. So I'm hoping we manage to get a sweep below, but if we do not, then I'm prepared to go up to here once again. I only have 40% of the short open now, but I'm prepared to obviously be close to round tripping because entry is around here. I'd be very close to round tripping. I would look to add around here and then ride the move back down again. But um, if we manage to get a hedge long somewhere around here, then I would take this as well. So it really depends. Um, can you give your kill zone settings? They are just. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't use these. I don't use these boxes here. I'm just using it as an example to show people what to look for. I already know the timings of when things happen, so I don't have any unique settings because, like I said, I don't use them. It's only when I want to like portray my point to other people, because if I try to post like a London low or London high, for instance, based off the timing, and I don't show the session boxes, people are just going to get confused. Do you think a real bottom wick will be caused by some big FUD, or will it happen without any news? Well, I mean, oh fuck, I should have kept that. Yeah, I should have kept that chart up. Um, 1 minute. Do I have it again? No, I don't. Okay. But yeah, we always have some sort of fears around the bottoms. It really depends. It really depends. I mean, at the moment, let's take a look at what's happening on the lower time frame. So, at the moment, this is the area we marked with this red line, which we need to flip, right? So we had the rejection from the internal range pushed down, and we are looking at like this scenario now. So we've reclaimed the range, meaning that if we come back down for a retest and respect the retest, for instance, then let's go even lower now. I mean, even here is a bit messy, to be fair, because here, like, what all you're seeing is push up, push back down, push up, push back down, and so forth. So I mean, if we can hold the retest, then we can go all the way back up to NY high, so NY open, so is 68.6. So the points of interest now is going to be, obviously, if we hold this area, then we can go up to this box again. If we cannot flip the box, we just push back down again, take a short. If we flip the box, then obviously you look for a sweep here, and look to capitalize on that move down. And I mean, again, like in terms of risk reward here, it's like, let's say we get back to these highs here, you just like do something like very like tight like this. You'd be looking for, obviously, the sweep at this low here. If this gets stopped 1 to 3, okay, you can lose 3 times before the win hits. So if you get stopped here, same shit here, 1 to 3, and you'll be looking for a sweep above. But again, you need to wait for the price action. You don't want to just the when you just put a limit in place, you're not observing how the structure's approaching. Like, let's say we hit and do this, right, and then we just consolidating above your area like this. There's a very good chance you're going to get pushed out before it reverses. So you need to like wait for, like, if the price goes up, pushes down, accepts below, and does like something like that, then let's try and remember some drawings. So like, let's say we had the deviation above the high, pushed back into the range, so back below, and then we have the retest of it, and then respect, then that's your validation. You take the position. You can take the position here, for instance, but there's a risk of this happening, and if your stop loss is like here, you're going to get stopped. Whereas if you wait for the acceptance of the range, you simply drag it to here, and then you can put your stop loss on the top of the wick if we've accepted back into the range. So this is like a very common practice which you should do if you are trading both the higher time frame and the lower time frame. So, does anybody have any questions about anything at the moment? It could be anything trading related. I mean, I always want to do these streams for about an hour on Mondays and Wednesdays. The issue is like I cover mostly everything in about 40 minutes. And I mean, we've been on for 41 minutes at the moment. So I don't know if an hour is too long. I don't know. It really depends what we're doing. Like, let's say I was doing a live scalp or something, then the stream might last a little longer. But um, thanks. Look at gold. Yeah, I did post this chart in the Apex chat. And if we look at gold at the moment, just from structure alone, we've had very nice recovery from the lows, 15%. And what I was looking at mainly here is if we start looking, let's draw some fibs, for instance. We're at the 0.61 and 0.5 here, 100%. But we have this area here, and I brought this up when we were like somewhere here. I said, look, I'm not looking for really anything, but I'm looking for something like this. And we can see we are testing that area here. And not only from a fib perspective, but from a structural perspective as well. We have here, which we are just slightly above at the moment. And we also have here as well. For instance, what do we see here, right? In terms of structure, what do we see? How do tops usually form on gold? They usually top like this. I'm not saying it's topped. I'm just saying that if we look at what's happened previously, matter of fact, let me go on another chart and show you. So if we take a look at how tops have formed previously, we can see we had this parabolic move, push down here, makes everybody thinks, okay, we are so back, a V-shaped recovery, and then bleed, and then obviously bear market for however X long. This top, slightly different. We had multiple pumps before, obviously, the bear market. But in terms of the characteristics of this one and what we've seen here as well, what do we see? This was a more of extensive range, but we had the capitulation wick, push up, V-shaped recovery, goes right back down again. We have a push up, goes right back down again. We have a push back up, right back down again. So what do we see here? We see the violent sell-off wick. We see the pump back up V-shape. Well, a V-shape is obviously like when we do this, right? I'm semi V-shape, right? Lower high, push back down. Now we start looking at obviously where we are now. We start looking on the daily. We obviously have this capitulation wick, push up, V-shape recovery. We're so back, push back down again, and now we're somewhere here. So in terms of characteristics with gold, from what we are seeing now to what's happened in the past, we can see, well, the tops which have happened in the past are quite similar to obviously where we are now. And given that we've had the capitulation, wick, the break of structure, and the sell-off, right? Bear in mind, this is a what? 27% drop here. This is not a small drop for an asset as big as gold. So let's say we maintain below this. Then we go on the 4 hour where I posted that chart. We obviously have here as well. We might see some deviation. It's very typical, especially across assets like this. But as long as we are maintaining below this box, we can easily go and chop through this range as to what we've seen previously in the past. So if we are basically topping very similar to obviously previous times where gold has topped, then you would expect us to basically not break above this area here, right? If we get the snipping tool again, this is a very good practice, and you just observe previous PA in the past. So here and copy and paste, start looking. So capitulation, the wick, the wick. So you can see here, this is our current wick, and we can see current wick. It doesn't get swept at all, right? So in theory, if gold is close to that period of a significant shift in trend, then this shouldn't be compromised, which means maximum downside versus limited upside for the time being. Same thing, you get this again when you look back at previous examples, right? So let's look here again, very similar. In this case, we saw a double sweep. We obviously before obviously this correction. So this one was slightly different from the previous one. Let's go back on the weekly. And then same thing here, very similar to what we're seeing now. But in this case, we've had a strong bounce back. This one, we just had the lower high and then bled and bled and bled. So that's my thoughts of gold, on gold at the moment. Share with us how you met Garrett. Um, I just when he was bullish at 100 and 104K and 95K, I just commented under his stuff, and I'm trying to understand why he's bullish, and he was wrong, and I was right, and then he followed me, so that's just pretty much it. What signs can we look for to be able to tell us, or tell with a high probability that the bottom is in, aside from time in a bear market? Um, it's a good question, but it's a very difficult one to answer without me trying to release certain shit which is in Killer Labs. There are a lot well, there's a lot more other ways to do it rather than just time, which I will not get into. So yeah, I mean, if you want to try and figure that out, then it's gonna have to be in Killer Labs, because I don't really want to have the info widely available public. Is your BTC bottom time frame still around July, August this year? Yes, that's an estimation period for where I think we will bottom. But like I said, I'm already buying within this fractionalized range. If that makes sense with my entries. So you went F short. I did make a post in the morning in general chat. I made a post in general chat about that matchy guy who basically is like, this guy's wrong and liquidated nearly every single time. Like, yeah, I am in a short on that, but it was like I said, it's a gamble position. I'm just shorting to his liquidation from that. So I mean, it's not a huge position. Obviously, it's enough to make some good bucks, but um, I'm literally just short to his liquidation because this guy gets liquidated every single second. It would be ironic if the one time I do it that it goes up. It would be funny to be funny to be fair. So I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I've never seen this guy win. Like never seen him win, ever. Like he's worse than every single trader on X by far. I almost think he's counter trading on another account because he's that bad, or he's just trying to launder money or some shit. I don't know what he's doing, but you can't be wrong that many times. Have you been offered to work with money firms or companies to manage options for them? No. Any particular reason why you use spot for your long-term hold, not use there 2x position? No, I mean that's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna do the same thing. I have my spot, and then I'm gonna have my leverage positions as well. So I'm gonna have both. Um, so I'm definitely gonna have both. Yeah, that's why I ask what entry level you grab or you target. And no, I just shorted like well, I don't even know. Let me look on my phone. I shorted at 2,140 on it, basically around where I posted. Just market, no, nothing TA related. Just because he's long, I just shorted. I promise you, I have never seen this guy win ever, never. Like, believe me, this guy loses every single fucking time. It's insane. So if I happen to be wrong and I short and he's right, then I guess the fucking universe is against me, man. Wait, let me try. I'll get the tweet up. Just give me a sec. I'll get the tweet up. It's from Look on Chain. Is it from Look on Chain? No, it's not. Is it? No, it's not. Let me just type in Matchy Brothers. Oh, wait, there it is. It was Arkham. So look, right. Matchy Big Brother is back at 1 million, right? He lost over 75 million in the last 6 months. He's currently 15.3 mil on F, and his liquidation is 2,049. And this guy's never been right, never. Like let's actually fucking look, right? I don't think you're gonna see much here though, because this is only showing like um spot deposits and withdrawals. But the guy is never fucking right. Killer Labs will be set of live sessions or uh, set reading material for people who will join. So it took a lot of months in development, but pretty much you probably saw it in my matter of fact, let me go to in my channel here, right? So I made a post. So this is one of the pivot based indicators. There is going to be 7. They're all different and they're just informational in terms of basically I have this for the indicator videos where I obviously have 7 indicators, 7 videos explaining how to use them to identify the market structure and basically what to look for when using them and stuff, right? And then obviously we have the methodology, which is covering a bunch of stuff as well, 55 videos as well. The yellow ones are longer than these ones. I have a lot of the yellow ones as well. It's just not in this image. I have to scroll down on it. Um, and then I have this 63-page PDF um, of all of the stuff which I use, the indicators and stuff, and what I'm looking at. And then obviously 44-page PDF, and this is for the indicators. So basically this and this is together, this is together, and then there's 7 indicators, but this is only just showing one, for instance. So will you reconsider reopening um killer labs in the future for people who missed this time? Well, I mean, I do it every 3 months. The last one was in January. I do it every 3 months. But yeah, I mean, I'll make a post when we are one day before it happening, and then I'll just post about the information and stuff, what people need to do. Plus, we have the whitelist for people who, well, the reserved for people who are wanting to be in. So, I mean, all right, I'm gonna end the recording now because I don't want to yap um about nothing important for the next like 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean, we've been streaming for about 57 minutes. So I'm gonna end it here because um, for people who are gonna rewatch the recording, not gonna just want to watch the rambling part. So I'll just end it here.